good evening, everybody. A very happy Saturday to each and every one of you. You know, Saturday brings us to some live reading. And well, live reading is just fantastic, isn't it? It's why you are all here with me tonight. And tonight, once again, we start ourselves a brand new story. This one, even the lingering dead may still find courage. A dark fantasy by Tiago Resende. Spectral Braver, the first arc. Ah, you know you're gonna like it, right? Let's see, how did the author describe it? Because he did describe it quite interestingly to me. Hold on, let's go. We'll get a couple of things here. Let's start out with his blurb. Spectral Braver, the first arc, starts as a romantic yet grim fairy tale of a man from our timeline who meets a Victorian corpse mother and her three children in a haunted manor in Sleepy Hollow, New York. Because he's somewhat used to these things over his long experience with astral projection, he easily connects with these spirits and decides to help them. Turns out they were originally murdered by a violent wraith which invaded the manor. Ghosts have miserable, confusing experiences on the other side. It's not common to see them take matters into their own hands when it comes to threats from this ethereal wildness. They hide, they cower, and wait endlessly in the hopes that light takes them finally. But Ben Freeman has his share of video game and anime-fueled imaginings to completely tilt the odds. More importantly, this Felicity Craig, the way she's kept her kids safe, hints at a power which may actually change everything in the afterlife. Forever. This is how a mighty legend begins, by the power of a family. In collaboration with Tim Maloney, voiceover, you'll get to experience this magical tale about our greatest inborn strengths, turn supernatural abilities beyond your wildest imaginings. Time to believe in ghosts. And then he ends it with, it's Dragon Ball Z with ghosts. So, we'll see how that all works out for us, right? It might be interesting. I have a feeling we're going to find ourselves amused. Now, I'm also going to let's go over a couple of housekeeping things first. The first is I have streams running on Twitch, Rumble, X, YouTube, and TikTok. You are welcome to chat with me in any one of those streams. I will be happy to respond to you in any one of those streams. Well, I'll respond here and it will go out to every stream. But because I record these and post them to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/@SirArminius, please subscribe if you haven't already. I record and post all of the recordings after the stream, which means because I'm recording, I don't stop to answer the questions or engage with chat while I am reading the chapter. Doesn't work so well on a recording. But between chapters, I will always go and take a look, see if I have seen any chats come in, and will respond accordingly. So if you happen to have something to say, you want to ask a question, whether it's about the book, whether it's about books I've read already, or about being a voiceover artist, being an author, whatever your question may be, I'm happy to answer it in between chapters. So, the other thing that I want to put out there for you, and you'll see this in the descriptions on Rumble and YouTube, the rest of them don't let me put in much of a description. This may be a little bit different than what you're used to, and let me read this note to readers from our author. Note to readers. Spectral Braver uses a style dubbed novel cinematic. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make sure I have this posted for everybody, just in case people happen to catch on the stream or on the recordings and aren't sure why. This will help them to understand. So let's go ahead and record it. Note to readers. Spectral Braver uses a style dubbed novel cinematic. During your experience, you'll notice a few unusual things. Every paragraph, regardless of length, represents a continuous camera shot, often including multiple concurrent character perspectives on scene. Dialogue is always tethered to either the announced speaker, their loudest thoughts, or their actions. Italics are employed to convey changes in communication sources such as phones, loudspeakers, and writings, as well as non-translated spoken regional expressions and honorifics, implying slight signal interference in communications. Furthermore, characters will often string inner monologue into verbal dialogue or respond verbally to thoughts directly. Time is also liable to shift in the prose, to reflect the distance of a given memory from its subject. Please don't be alarmed, for after a certain point in this story, you'll be alongside the dead, witnessing their uncanny reality. If all they have is thoughts, surely one would experience those in their presence. Thus, to facilitate the unusual transition to the ethereal realm, think of these books like seasons of a TV show that you can read shot by shot, scene by scene, like a cinematic storyboard. Within this format, thrilling action set pieces and deep emotional experiences with vivid characters await you. May this provide you an unforgettable experience. So, once again, a little bit different than many books that you may have read. And so, if it's coming across a little bit more strangely than you would expect it to, that may be purposeful. That is the way that the author designed it. The other thing that I will call out, I don't know that it makes any difference, but the author is from Portugal. So there always is a chance if English is not his native language. And I do not know if it's is or is not. Haven't asked that question, not interested. Don't really need to know. We will look at the story for our answers. But just be aware that sometimes when it comes across that way, things can come across a little bit differently than for somebody who is a native English speaker. So just be aware and understanding. And now let me grab a drink because lots of words are getting ready to pour forth from my lips. And with words comes the need for moisture. So sit back, relax, and prepare to enjoy. Hello, Leon Hutlinger. Hello, hello. Welcome. I hope you are ready to enjoy Spectral Braver. So sit back, relax, and prepare to enjoy as we dive into another evening of indie author reading goodness with Spectral Braver by Tiago Resende. I am drinking a Monster Ultra Blue Hawaiian. Monsters. My drink of choice that I shouldn't be drinking when I'm doing voice acting, but hey, I do. Very bright blue. And now let's go ahead and dive in, shall we? Starting with Chapter 1, Enter the Craig Manor. The nightly depths of a modest Pittsburgh three-bedroom apartment, tinged in blue hues of moonlight, are occasionally flashed by their car headlights passing by. A black and white tiled kitchen has the shadow of a man dangling from on high. Why would it project from all the way up in the ceiling is unclear. Pathetic grunting, filled with regret and struggle, is all that spills forth from the doorframe. It has been the case that a boy no older than 3 years old stands motionless in the hallway leading here around these late hours. Many times this has happened. The child awakes, comes out of bed, only to witness this. Going inside is an urge which happens just as regularly, but the boy won't do it, because in that same hallway he can see that both mommy and daddy are soundly asleep, and that couldn't possibly be his sister either. That is some other person, and he never sounds well. But this night the boy tries something different, musters up the courage to call him out. Mister, are you okay? The sounds of struggling cease into a silence, muffling everything. Another flash travels from the bedrooms, yet no car is heard. A small brunette is in his robot-themed pajamas, shakes in expectancy. Should I call Mommy? She left, the man groans. She left me this house with no money. The boy inches closer. I can ask Mommy for money. I shouldn't have done this. I can't come down now. It's okay. I can help. An innocent smile draws on the boy as confidence floods his tiny body. That man isn't scary after all. I had a son, too. He was bigger than you. What's your name? An old woman's voice springs from his bedroom down the hall. Don't tell him. He won't leave you alone if you do. Go back to bed. The boy turns around startled. That's another stranger in his house. Are you my granny? Kinda. Just do what I say. It's a witching hour, and all manner of things are about, son. You shouldn't leave your bed, understand? He is conflicted by this. The man in the kitchen clearly needs help, but this lady sounds worried too. What should he do? You're stalling, she insists. In bed now, before. The sharp clinking of spurs followed by boots travels from the hallway leading to the elevators. It sounds big and heavy, just about to turn the corner to where he is. The toddler looks to his parents through the gap in the doorway, seeing as no place is likely safer in that house than with Mommy. The tallest shadow appears, slithering through the walls, a terrifying silhouette with a wide flapped preacher's hat, pacing slowly amidst the thickest smoke. The air around it warps. What it exudes is the sort of intent a truly bad man would have. Pleas and cries follows this horror, those of many. Something terrible happened to those people. There was a fire, a towering inferno of cruel human sacrifice that he carries around like a nightmarish halo to his back, as the hallway is thoroughly consumed by this vision. The tall man aims to kidnap him into these echoes of another place, and surely there's no coming back from such an unearthly thing. Even someone this young can see it coming. Ah, Mommy! Mommy! The boy bursts into their bedroom, about to shake her. The unrelenting smoke billows in his wake. A dark hand hugs the pale wall, and Mommy will not wake up. He is doomed. Ben! The old lady shouts. He'll get you here! This way! Hurry! On the wall next to the window, the outline of a door leading nowhere cracks neatly into a swiveling hidden panel. Won't he just fall down to the street? What about Mommy? He shouldn't run away, because if Daddy won't wake up either. It's okay. He can't hurt those who sleep. Go now. What the boy steps into is yet another darkened hallway, this one with purple floral wallpaper and dark wood paneling, stretching ever more into a red door. No longer a small boy, rather a spry, spectacled young brunette wearing denim, swiftly kicks off into a desperate dash across this strangely old, stuffy stretch. A different house, to be sure. More importantly, this one recurring place he's wandering into is way scarier than that god-forsaken apartment. the way it's stretching out so far, as if orchestrated by a gigantic choir of despaired voices, is indicative of a much stronger haunting. Not one, not two. It's a path through the many. This is bad. As monstrous dead hands come out of the walls to grab him, swiftly bobs and weaves like a feline, blocking and parrying, picking up speed into what seems to be clearly signaled exit for his benefit. He isn't afraid. A mournful comment gurgles from the walls, like someone's parting words amidst their own death rattle. Ben shouts, "Damn straight!" spinning out of reach of those two arms with a swiveling kick. Broken to the side, dropping limp, this serves as suitable encouragement to the bold young man. If all these dead people want a piece of him, he'll most certainly oblige with force. Right now. Shifting his movements to sudden warps, it doesn't matter how impossibly far that doorway has become. If it's 10, 20, or 100 of these things in this cramped space, that's as many as he'll pummel into submission. There's no way there is a record for these many hands and wrists broken in such a short amount of time. This is amusing. Hey, sup? And you, sir, fine day, huh? Yeah, you're just... No! The screams have since meshed together into a droning pattern hum of dread. Doubtless, hell would sound just like this. Is this Granny's idea of an exit strategy, or is he being tested? Yet again. Fine. Pulling himself out of a mess is par for the course. Random voices of children heard somewhere above him strike him as something out of a playground. Are these someone's memories? All of these people died and they crave his life force. This subtle pull from his body, scattering specks of shimmering light in their direction, would be their beckoning. Ha! As if! More arms incoming. More of them get wrecked. Like a lone wolf surrounded by hunters, Ben won't stop to wonder what this predicament means. Therefore, as in his waking hours, merely pushes through the dark. Perhaps reaching this other end will reveal this for what it is. Just another house where life went on for the living, well beyond this nightmarish stuff. Another outstretched arm tries to catch him. Determined to push through, grapples it, breaking it off with a snapping counter, rendering this shape as scattered black miasma. However, a roaring limb morphing into a miasmic black claw snags his denim vest from behind. Dreamwalker! Ugh! Hands off! The young brawler flexes his legs into a backward somersault, thus speared by a furiously thrusting overhead kick into the darkness forming behind him. A mighty boom, delayed from the impact, fills the corridor, deftly sliding close to this mass into a screeching halt. Ben adjusts his glasses by the bridge, knowing full well this one is at least as strong as a preacher back at the apartment. He was too small to stand up to that one, but there's something dangerous about this presence. Two shimmers emerge from its depths, staring. If he is being directed by Granny to escape, squaring up to this formless thing is probably what it wants. Has to leave this place now and make sure Mom is safe in her bed. She has to be. Warping furiously towards the exit, the red door swings to reveal the moon-bathed outline of a cloaked old woman, tiny and friendly, reaching out with the same voice he heard in the old apartment. "You're ready, son. You're finally coming home." The panting brawler can't catch a glimpse of her face, yet this overwhelming anxiety, looming like a burst of flame in his chest, immediately drives his spirit to fervorously ask unto a past since dead, hoping that this one figure might know how to go back to it. "Is my mom with you? Is she okay?" "I'm so sorry, Ben." His euphoria is sharply cut by the realization. "I wish I could fix that for you. I really do, son." His eyes well up. "Me too." "But now she needs you. That family needs you. We all do, son." "What?" "As above, so below. As below, so above. It's where you belong." wipes away his tears, seeing as even here these fog up the lenses. I don't think I belong anywhere. I know you're all dead, but if my mom isn't here either, find the source. An alarm blares across a modestly furnished suite with a single bed, a desk with a laptop and a chair, a young man's denim clothes neatly stacked on the floor below a window as it beams the day's first light into those Spartan quarters. A jolt within a wrapped duvet. Huh? Oh man. Stretches his legs and arms out and turns to the smartphone at his side. It's 8 a.m. on a Tuesday, the 23rd of May, 2023. Slips out and stumbles into the bathroom in shorts, clumsily grabs his prescription glasses from the sink. A slightly below average height, athletic 28-year-old man he is. The unkempt, dark brown hair is treated like an afterthought, clearly. Unless it gets long enough to get in his eyes, doesn't mind growing it out. Peers into the toilet bowl while relieving himself, beset by a sudden reminder of his ongoing struggle. The narrative planning for his current project. The job is intellectually demanding, creating entire gameplay systems based on an undefined narrative is taxing on his ability to conceptualize. It is often spontaneous when he's engaged in his own creation. Still, designing story, environments, and mechanics for a soulless corporation sure makes him feel like some kind of sellout. Can't keep writing this dumb shit for them. A dark mansion? Someone didn't pay the electricity bill. Totally cliche, bro. Seriously. There's like 50 games with the spooky house genre, all selling for $20 a pop. Oh, it's gonna be huge. Fuck out of here. Flushes the toilet, thoroughly annoyed. A spontaneous thought gives him pause from his vocal ranting. Mom. He was dreaming about her again. Not necessarily her, but a time when she was around, driving him into this recognizable loop he's had for the past 2 years. Life became too uncanny to cope. Unsure of what it's supposed to be and for what purpose after her. There is no end to this feeling, as evidenced by his moist cheekbones. Even in that place, he couldn't find her. That's why it isn't real. The smartphone rings from the bedroom. Rushes out and takes the call. Sup, Carl? Have an alarm on my phone, you know. Prompts while scratching his left buttock. On the other side of the call, buzzing traffic and a car stereo playing a chirpy anime soundtrack. Morning, Ben. Hey, remember the specs for Dark Mansion? Got the email last night from Jackson. Was hoping to go over this stuff with you, but it was getting late. You coming in? The young man frowns in estrangement. That a question? Jesse made it clear I need to come in every weekday. Most Saturdays also a thing when devs are on a crunch time. Something changed about that control freak and her staff policies? Or am I dreaming here, Carl? This early in the morning. The bile comes out. Enthusiastically goes into the news. Oh, you have no idea. Here's the thing. Jackson really wants this to work, and you're the guy. I'm telling you, he's seriously invested in this shit. It's bigger than Foggy Hill. Now, having predicted this sort of talk, this elicits an eye roll. These bozos prop up their projects like it's the best thing since sliced bread. Foggy Hill wasn't my gig. You made sure of that. The annoyance in Ben's face deepens. Carl pauses, lowers the volume on the car stereo. And a damn shame that was. Really wanted your approach to that genre. Not saying anything, that one sucked. Sold like hotcakes. But the way you write this spooky stuff would have made it so much more, you know? So this time, I pitched you hardcore to Jackson, and he agrees. That script was brilliant. You could really feel the immersion there. But here's the thing. I really need you to commit to this project. You've got this weird habit of standing at the back of the room in the company. I believe you, man. Gotta step up to the plate, all right? Ben takes a slumping seat on the mattress, scratches his scalp, drained from hearing his project manager prattle on. Look, man, I don't get what's going on. You guys had me on as a contractor. This sounds like I'm Project Lead all of a sudden. What are we talking about here? Well, first things first. You're on research detail, buddy. Actual field research. This ghost shit needs hands-on experience. Jackson wants the definitive haunting simulator for the AAA market with a realistic touch. This is huge, trailblazing. I'd say Grubby is about to become the horror brand of the industry. Finally! Enough of the Japs, you know? Collapses across the bed, flapping the fingers off in his other hand. This jagoff just yaps in recurring hyperbole. Hands on? Come on, you guys hired me for fiction work. Let's be serious for a second here. I don't do sims, can't simulate some bullshit theories about dead people, so for real this time, what's the job? Don't sweat the details for now, but here's the kicker. Got you a house, a nice village out in fancy Westchester, no more Airbnbs. Place doubles as a home and research site. Crazy shit, though. It has a nasty reputation. Just the thing you need to get a feel for the environment we're going for, right? Exhaling, shambles for the coffee machine. Nasty reputation? Oh, yeah! People got murdered there a couple of times over the past 2 centuries. You probably never saw the special they did on the place back in the 90s. It's been so famous a spooky tour spot for all the weirdos since then. We had it cleared out for you, though. No cobwebs or stains. It's neat. A couple of times? Carl, slow down for a second. Murder house? Yeah, how baller is that, buddy? All year-round Halloween. Pretty baller. Would rather stay home so I can write without people yapping by my cubicle every 10 minutes or so, but stares out the window with an evident shade of apprehension. He continues. You're saying this place is legit haunted, and I'm supposed to work on a 500-page technical and creative document in a house where I may not catch a wink? Wow, what a gauntlet. Meanwhile, the project manager obnoxiously chuckles. Exciting, huh? Besides, I know you hate Jesse's gut. Don't think you heard me. Sure be nice to not have to bump into Turbo Broomstick Rider over there. But I don't see how I'm going to get this shit done under that level of pressure, man. Jackson's already okayed this. I put myself out for you, and get this. Before I even got your name in the conversation, the man said, and I quote, I assume this is Mr. Freeman we're talking about? You made an impression with the boss man, so getting shit done you shall, buddy. Don't know what to tell you. I think you'll be fine. You just said you don't believe in that stuff, right? Takes a deep breath as an image of a tall shadow man with a preacher's hat manifests in his mind. These vague memories he can't make sense of haunt him. I don't know if I do, man. It's complicated. Carl joyously moves things along, totally glossing over such audible deflection. Get your ass out here ASAP and let's have a sit down with the boss. He already prepped the meeting room and shit. Hey, looking out for you, buddy. You're my star player. Big smile when you walk in, Mr. Congeniality. Let's friggin' go. Yeah. Thanks for the pep talk. Be there in an hour. The solitary beeping from the phone fills the air for a moment. Just enough silence is afforded before the next-door neighbor woman shouts, reverberating the halls in obnoxiously clear New Yorker. Fucking take out the trash, will ya? The door is heard closing. A young man's voice passes the front door. Yeah, fucking sick of this. Ben sighs listlessly in the middle of his tidy room. There's no amount of order in his own life that staves away the chaos swirling everywhere else. He hates it here. Shortly after, walks out the apartment complex to catch a ride, wearing a thick army green canvas jacket and jeans. A bag of the same material holds a large laptop hanging off his shoulder. carries his work everywhere like a veritable ball and chain. It's getting hotter, even if the sun barely touches this busy street in the morning. Sharp whistles, endless complaining, phones chiming, cars roaring. There's just no escaping the headaches in this place. Ben's muted green eyes lock to the empty space between the high rises of downtown Brooklyn, then to the stacked Verrazano Bridge. The prospect of yet another strained, bothersome commute to work. To be done with this smothering life. Anything different will do. Anything. 2019. On a warm spring day. A wilding garden sprawls adjacent to a reasonably classy country house in white, softly echoing the distant waves of the East Hampton shore. Ben sits at a wooden table with two women and another young man under the generous shade of an oak. He and Mom bought that place a couple of years ago when things finally took off for them. After years of struggling financially, getting all their ducks in a row, moving to the big city eventually paid off. But as with all things, wouldn't be long until conditions changed for them yet again. Dreams would be dreams. They're so for a reason. The eldest of the women, gaunt and worn out, wearing a floral patterned bandana, is Ben's mother, Adelaide. The youngest, clad in a beige pantsuit with a matching Karen dyed blonde hairdo, presumptuously bestowing this poser with the look of an uptight executive, his older sister Emily. The spindly young man in a garish hoodie and slick dark hair, his younger brother Jared, too busy with his phone to look up. One would think from the mother's slight and calm demeanor such would be a pleasant gathering for the family. It was anything but. Emily anxiously prompts her mother. So, what does this mean for us? What about the company? A faint smile. Sweetie, it means Adelia will be yours to run. You are the other fashionista of the family. I've been at this long enough to pick up on the ins and outs of the pret-a-porter business. A fairly logical conclusion if, of course, all at the table agree. Ben sighs exasperated. Why are we talking about this now? Shouldn't we focus on getting you better, Mom? Benjamin, darling, we need to make sure all of you are taken care of, especially you, who put so much of your own money to help launching the business after your father left us. I'll always be grateful for that. You paid our bills when we couldn't. Jared chuckles, eyes on the phone still. What? Money and Ben? That's the taboo topic with Big Bro over here. I wouldn't even bring it up. He's on some legit monk mentality. Born to be poor, I guess. Jared! Adelaide chastises the smug teenager. I want you, both, to promise me you'll bring your brother in if he needs a job. Emily is not keen on the idea. Oh, so we're supposed to put struggling artist over here in the books if he botches his silly video game shindig? You know that market is just a couple of years from nosediving hard, right? Totes a decent choice of career. A sarcastic thumbs up. Ben stands. Yeah, my bullshit career is paying enough to make ends meet. Rest assured, Em. I'll be fine. Walks away. Adelaide rises, a stern pair of green eyes at the siblings. At the entrance to the house, grabs her a bathing boy's arm. She is pained. Please, son, you three need to get along now. I just can't rest easy, knowing this family is going to fall apart. Please. Ben stares at the flooring. We got through so much, you and I. But I feel you grew sad as time went on. I know it wasn't easy, Ben. Wish I could do more than this place. Mom, I don't care about it. Just, what am I going to do when you're gone? Tears flow behind the foggy lenses. What you've always done, steely-eyed boy, embracing in his grief. You were my only friend, he sobs. There isn't a man in this world that's stronger. Pokes his chest. In here. And no matter what happens to me, you'll continue to be that man. There is a princess out there in need of rescue, and she'll thank you forever, like I do. Takes off the glasses to wipe his face. Mom, come on. You're not a kid anymore. Have you seen the sort of bullshit people say on social media now? Everyone shoved their head up their own ass, and I'm not about to pull them out. Not too much on my plate as it is. I know you wanted grandkids and all, but we're not in that world anymore. Your average princess is a sociopath looking for a ticket to Dubai or some shit. Just not that guy. I'm old fashioned, maybe. I wouldn't want any of those idiots for you either, silly. I know you won't waste that strength on someone who doesn't deserve it. I hope I did my best to earn all your love and hard work. And now you're sick. This isn't fair. Starts crying once more. It never is. But I know that won't stop you, darling. There's power in your dreams, in your imagination. I love that about you. Remember the clothes I designed for your characters? Yeah, Ben sniffles. You really got the designs perfect. And because I understand you, to understand people is what binds our dreams together. I can't be the only one in the whole wide world who can do that. He looks determined at his mother, eyes awash in sorrow. I'll take you every day to the clinic. I'll see this through. She hugs her boy tightly. My hero. That garden was dying. No one could do anything about it. Ben tried his best, but work while looking after his mother absorbed him. The world vanished on him for the duration of that painful year. The cab driver attempts to make small talk in a mostly silent trip. You hear the thing with the president paying the search engine to censor this shit about the leaks? Talk about covering your own ass. Ben's brow deepens. Couldn't give two solitary fucks about the president if I tried. Didn't vote. You don't vote? Can't complain if the country goes down the tubes, huh? Stares outside. Yep, definitely not complaining. Suit yourself, buddy. Guess working for those Manhattan suits got you covered. I, for one, have bills to pay and little to pay 'em with. You know what I'm saying? Not with these gas prices. If the president is a lying scumbag living off my taxes, that makes it my business. Already ready-made judgment from some random person. Nice. And what did you do about it? A throwaway, disdainful snark. Voted for the other guy. Duh! What else can you do? As they arrive at their destination, Ben pulls out his wallet and calmly expands on his thoughts. I'm sure that works out great every time. Here's my stop. Take the money and a piece of advice. Stop talking politics with your customers. Some aren't into it. Most are way too invested. Can't win. Save yourself the trouble, Chief. Taps the driver's seat. Whoa, just making conversation here. You all quiet. Look like someone took a dump in your creme brulee or something. Then slams the car door on this dick. Before him rises the slim 13-story high, grubby soft building, an excessively angular, gaudy interpretation of German brutalism, as if said architectural style was garishly reimagined by a child, or an eccentric moron. The suits clearly had to make this a standout as part of their marketing. They started back in the 90s with kids' games. Those kids are now adults, and so is the kind of stuff they make. Still, the nauseatingly cheery decor stayed to put on this friendly face for the public. It's by all means the company brand. Feels embarrassing to even walk into this thing. His tortured thoughts are interrupted by a suit on his earpiece, loudly crossing him on the sidewalk. He's the guy that was yelling at the baristas down the street the other day. A punchable face. Yeah, get the lawyers and the whole customer care staff in the meeting room first thing in the morning. The AI platform definitely works. Yeah, Claire, look, we already discussed this. Just push those allegations. The lawyers got it. They'll take the settlement. It's either that or be unemployable. Hey, don't care if some of them can get a fucking contract lawyer, alright? Just do it. Corpos are horrible. They're not the only ones. A lavishly dressed woman in salmon pink and blonde hair walks by on her phone, a bunch of gold bracelets jingling annoyingly. Eye-watering levels of perfume wafts as she passes. Blah, blah. It's 10 years, Charlie. You're still not getting the kids, all right? This is my life. And I'm not just happy if you're still in the picture. So move on. Well, guess I'll see you in court then. Comes off the call. Fucking loser. Everyone is mired in war. Not against this whole thing, this inhuman structure everyone has grown to accept and serve. Folks turning inwards against those who trusted them. This isn't right, yet it's the result of indulging in all the insincerity. This can't be his world, surely. Disturbed young man crosses the lobby, avoiding eye contact. He's done with soaking in people for the day. Gets into the elevator. While it climbs to the admin floor, the exterior glass cabin slowly unveils Manhattan's sprawling concrete skyline. Foggy, diseased, full to the brim with traffic. This vista isn't impressive as the architects thought, initially. Fate teases him with this sudden chance for an exodus, while this life still looms large, owning his outcomes. Will it allow him to leave this disgusting, virulent city behind? So much hatred and distrust down there, so many people in the rat race, rationalizing the big lie, surrendering themselves to a futile life of wage slavery amidst broken bonds. Some, those who are sitting pretty in all this, do it while mocking the struggle of the commoner, paycheck to paycheck, broken dream to the next, like Em and Jared. They forgot where they came from, clearly. They forgot how hard it was when Dad left. Steps out the elevator. A buxom redhead in a burgundy pantsuit gets off her desk from the office behind the reception. She was absolutely leering at the CCTV feed intently, waiting for his arrival. Rushes into the admin lobby to cut him off. Mr. Freeman, could you step into my office, please? We need to discuss a matter of importance about your situation in the company. Hi, Jesse. Ben greets her, trailing off, staring at the grim-looking Foggy Hill poster depicting a ghost town. It's Miss Kalinsky. I know people on your floor are keen on these informalities, but I really need all you to follow protocol. This way, please. Jackson and Carl are waiting for me on the meeting room. That was kind of scheduled since 8 a.m. this morning. Yes, you have, checks her fancy smartwatch. 10 minutes. I'll only take 5. And counting. Jessie scowls in aggravation and walks to her office. Ben follows reluctantly. He knows she is about to ruin an already splendid day. As they enter, crosses his arms defensively. So, what's going on? We should discuss the terms of your salary, goes over her screen. Lodging, food, and commuting expenses are to be subtracted from your pay, effective next month. Figures. Isn't that much anyway? Figures? The residence you will be moved to is on the company dime. You get to work from home. Even the internet and utilities are covered. Ben gives off an empty yet strange smile. That's really generous of you guys. I'm sure I'll work twice as much. As one would expect. It's a murder house, Miss Kalinsky. Hazel eyes go sharp on him. Dark Mansion will be the 2024 flagship title for Grubby Soft. We gotta beat the Japanese on this genre. As narrative and concept designer, you must be the marketing face here. No room to reject protagonism. You're the creative director, simply put. Interviews, that sort of thing? A wrinkly grimace. What a pain. Better, Mr. Freeman. You'll be given a house staff after the game's launch, and if it hits the initial sales target we projected, you're going to manage and host promotional tours at the Craig Manor. That's direct customer and media PR. So yeah, interviews and such. Ben laughs so loud, the woman in the reception turns on her chair to look at the exchange happening in the office behind her. Okay, I'm gonna get a house. Sick. Again, the house is supposedly haunted, so probably very cozy. Then I'm gonna get strangers in that place every day with their cosplays and cameras, streamers, journos. Jessie runs her fingers through her thick, glossy red hair and looks at the young man intently. I see you already have an enthusiastic grasp of your upcoming job description. And no pay increase, no contract, no benefits, he retorts. The woman glares at her screen, pretending to look for anything of relevance. No, not on my file. A bit too ambitious for someone who's been on board for 2 years, wouldn't you say? Besides, I distinctly remember Carl describing you as a passion worker, dream job, chomping at the bit for this one break. Someone who doesn't care about money. It's all about making good games you can be proud of, right? So I don't really see the issue here. Her stare shifts to condescending. Yep, that's me, all right. Just saying, it's a bit weird to be in this position without a contract. Wondering if you even do those anymore. Guess we're done with the briefing on my salary. Starts to head for the door. Done. Rest assured that as an employee of Grubbysoft, you will be well looked after. It's a Victorian house. You know how much those go for in the market nowadays? He shrugs. What would that matter? Now, let's spook all those gamers' wallets, huh? Jessie uppercuts the air with a hideously fake smile. Ben can't help but scoff discreetly at this display. Such a massive fake. Carl, huh? So much for protocol there. Buddy! A fat, nerdy-looking, greasy-haired blonde exec with a tasteless green three-piece opens arms in Ben's direction, intercepting from the meeting room. Ugh, here we go with the touchy. Jackson there already? Adjusts his glasses. Yeah, he got us some breakfast and an amazing new coffee blend. Gotta try it. Ain't gonna take much of your time, 'cause the boss has been making moves for like 3 months. Didn't tell anyone on the floor until it was time to go. Clearly, he's really excited about this. Out of his own pocket? Nah, he set up a different team on the payroll, not devs. Whole thing was budgeted in a month. Crazy. Carl forcefully wraps an arm around Ben's shoulders, who cringes at the insincere gesture. Greasy eagerly spills the deets. The boss found this big-ass mansion with a fucked-up history, and guess where it is? Think you said over the phone that it was upstate Westchester or something? Sleepy fucking Hollow! Headless Night? Witches and ghouls? Things that go bump in the night? Good grief, Carl. You're talking simulators, and then you spring this shit on me. Isn't there a game about that stuff already? Just saying, it's flavor text. Trust me, you'll like the overall vibe. The manager prattles as they step into the meeting room. Jackson, a dark-haired Italian suit-wearing metrosexual type, clean-shaven and with a permanent arrogance on his face, stands up from the other side of the table and smiles directly at Ben, as if to assure him, a hunting simulator based on a real locale, plenty of documented supernatural history. Please, have a seat and let's dig in. I hope you appreciate the new catering services. Boss makes a gesture to where Ben is meant to sit. Not close to him, beside Carl, a clear signaler of position within the company. Fanto starts eating a pastry ravenously. Dude's starving, surely. The uncomfortable young man pours some coffee and stares at him, wishing his buddy would restrain himself somewhat. The boss gets up, pours himself a protein shake from the mixer atop his personal bar. This one's a roided-out gym rat. Ben now understands that he is caught between two excessive men in their own ways. Why is everyone around him so damn weird? I understand you wrote an initial treatment for Buggy Hill back in 21. I share Carl's regret, in the sense your talents would have made that project even more impressive. Sips, however, same as what happened to that script, gonna need you to completely reset your work on Dark Mansion, effective immediately. Delivered with a faint sympathetic expression, Ben doesn't take this kindly. Excuse me? What do you expect for this? There's like 50 pages. Hopefully you didn't get too far into the conceptuals then. This is a brand new, time-saving approach to game design we're enacting here. Look, the horror genre sells in more ways than one. People love being scared in the game and out there in the real world. So Dark Mansion's scope has been shifted from designing a house and plot from the ground up to actually scanning a real house with a suitable history in a very famous locale of American folklore. Sleepy Hollow, Ben declares, voided of enthusiasm. Correct. Jackson stands up and lights up the big screen in the meeting room. Craig Manor, the stage for a triple murder suicide in the 1900s and a later one in the 50s. The screen shows a great mansion, tightly wrapped by a carved stone and cast iron fence with a matching grate. Two round shielded grafted onto the metalwork. A stone path nestled between neglected flower beds leads to the entrance, its face recently painted in stone gray and white borders. Cutting the skyline with a black tiled roof atop 3 floors, just over a decently sized attic window, with 4 more below it. The dark wood entrance door and ensembles with 2 purple stained glass panes, probably large enough to house 2 or 3 current day families. The ominous thing stood awkwardly wedged into a 50s styled main street, with shops and comparably recent housing. A much denser urban landscape grew around this big house, seeming to want to squeeze it out, as if it has overstayed its welcome here. It had a few residents over the years, though understandably, brief stays for the most part, given the history of the place. It's been adrift in the real estate market since the 50s, appropriated by Sleepy Hollow's town hall in the mid 70s, then leased for all manner of events, namely a couple of televised paranormal investigations in the late 90s. Archive photos of the building scroll across the screen. Plenty of parapsychology paraphernalia litters the place. Tasteless, creepy decor and props were ushered in by TV producers with statues, cobwebs, and that sort of generic cheap Halloween stuff. The scrolling halts on a picture of the entrance lobby with a dual branching staircase. A white orb is seen atop the right lateral stairs. Ben, see that? Carl nudges him, while still chewing on a pastry. What? That on top of the stairs? Adjusts his glasses. A goof! A mouthful expression. Carl would be correct. That is a ghost. As Jackson says this, Ben reclines on the chair and looks at him, attempting to probe his sincerity. That's a ghost? The boss clears his throat and proceeds. It's definitely something. That photo was taken 3 weeks ago in 4K professional studio lighting. This is straight from the camera's SSD. Could be a bug. Those things get easily debunked, Ben observes. I had the same objections. The team we sent there says there were no bugs, no floating dust particles. The place was cleaned by a crew before this, and they all came out with stories about footsteps, doors slamming, and noises that sounded like children playing. This is likely real, as in consistent, reproducible paranormal phenomena. Quite the joyride, I'd suspect. Wow. Ben adjusts his glasses to his nose bridge, as he would often do when uncomfortable, though not dispensing with sarcasm. The question is, Mr. Freeman, would you be comfortable with this unusual living arrangement? Sips his coffee. Flagship title for 2024, right? Jackson sits back down, looking pleased. Putting you in charge of this new project is one of the best decisions I've made. Rest assured. Grubbysoft's employees are well looked after. Ben had to get that in. Bunch of corporate robots with those empty canned lives. Carl laughs and turns to Jackson. Star player! Told ya! The boss, seeming to catch the sarcasm, draws an unnaturally wide grin at his creative designer, looking more akin to a predator, baring its fangs. 2 weeks have passed. Ben and a two-man moving crew on a banged-up black truck park in front of Craig Manor after lunchtime. The street is bustling with people going about their business, giving him a sense of security. This doesn't look that bad, he comments, sticking his head out the window. Birds are chirping in a loud spring frenzy. Doesn't remember hearing those back in the big city. The truck driver seems to be in a hurry. I've heard of this house. Is it okay if we just, drop your stuff in the lobby? Scared of the ghosts, huh? A mocking grimace. Mister, I don't know what's happening in there. I'm trying to go through my day without finding out. He sighs. Sure, it's fine. Steps out of the truck. Useless. All par for the course. In his reckoning, people don't even try to be helpful these days. Nobody ever sticks their neck out in New York, even if the job is part of the charm. With his belongings lying on the lobby's hardwood floors, looks upon the main staircase leading up to a large stained glass window, framed with a purple flower design. Yep, cliché it is. The fake old furniture that props the decoration really does not pass close inspection. You might as well fill the place with idea. God, this is so cheap. As he discreetly cracks one of the flimsy decorations on the table, besides a classic standing coat hanger. Whoops. Well, time to explore. Awkwardly abandons the scene. Calmly strolling through the house with a grin, gets the basic lay of the land. Every room is spacious. These people were loaded. On the ground floor, all the walls are paneled in dark wood. Same for the carved railings. Going up, to the right wing, a great hall with a grand piano, lounge chairs, and an old bar. A massive, deep red classic rug on the floor, with a golden mandala pattern. To the left, a dining room with a long rectangular table and a fireplace. Wait, that's an open stone stove. Actually connects to the kitchen. That's seriously old school. Inside, classic dish racks and a weathered wooden table. This definitely isn't a replica. He can feel it by touch. 19th century. This saw some things, all right. Piece of history. Beside the deep purple carpeted main staircase, in the back, a small door leads to another corridor that branches into a small bathroom and a relatively large empty room with a single thick glass window. It lets in a bit of light and little else. Grim looking space. Probably where they kept the help or something. Taking a deep breath, climbs the main stairs, adjusting glasses. The house creaks. Wood breathes. It's normal. A bump is heard. Just one. Momentarily, a distinctly avoidant presence crosses the second floor, leaving a gust in its wake, strong enough to flutter his bangs. That interrupts the climb. Windows are closed. Surely. The light shining through the stained glass, painting him in speckled purple. The house itself is touching him in several ways. Will you please stop vibing with the house, bro? It's in your head, nothing more. And yet, that corridor with all those ghostly hands and the red door feels just like this somehow. He had one of those just a couple of weeks ago. The day he got the call. On the left, you can see two parallel hallways with doors leading into contiguous big rooms on each side. A shared bathroom between them on the right. A door closest to the face of the building leads to a grand suite. Next to it, a study with an ample library around the desk. 6 cases arranged in a circle. Cool design, actually. A small window, high up on the wall, beams just enough light through to highlight the desk amidst the stuffy darkness. Ben steps in to inspect. Ha! Fake books. They've moved me to a movie set, all right. Drags a hollow, decorated piece out of a shelf that was meant to look like a row of old books. Moving right along, passes through a hallway ending in a window, facing the neighbor. They definitely ruined the view. Well, curtains take care of that. The one door to the left, however, is closed, unlike every other door in this house as he arrived. It seems stuck, not locked, as if the wood paneling expanded too far against the frame. After trying a few times to pull it open by the doorknob, this is becoming annoying. Yanking it with force, he finally opens it with a loud, painful creak. A narrow, steep staircase extends upwards, meeting a small, heavily framed window, then circling around into another door above. This other door was not jammed, but the moment he steps in, the air feels noticeably stale and colder in relation to the rest of the house. Chilly up here. Crossing arms, while the hair on the back of his neck stands up slightly. This is the place, right? This is where the fucked up stuff happened? Pretty sure. Walked around nervously in the empty attic with a single window at the end of it. Well, clears his throat. To any phantoms or ghosts in this here establishment, nice to meet ya. Name's Ben. Looks around with a fidgety smile on his face. I mean you no harm, so don't be assholes or anything, okay? Just putting it out there. I'm fine with you being here, but I will be dumping my models and merchandise crap up here, so you know. Knock yourselves out. It's all good. Darts out of the room and goes down the stairs in a rush. That place felt weird. There's absolutely no way he would spend more than 5 minutes up there if he could help it. Might not go up there again. Nighttime falls upon the house, and the only light comes from the great classic chandelier hovering in the middle of the entrance lobby. Ben sits on the stairs, having his first smoke since he rolled into this small town. Takes a long drag, and puffs a huge cloud towards the door. Ooh, look, a ghost! Chuckles in disdain for this entire setup the company made for him. This is such a stupid idea. In takes a long drag. Well, time to grab something to eat. Pack of smokes, energy drink. Going all in tonight. Murder house it is. Gets up, grabs his canvas jacket, and walks out of the house. The street is now completely deserted. The couple of shops in the area are closed. Other than the electric hum from the streetlights, not a peep. Looks into his smartphone. 9 p.m.? Really? Standing in the middle of the road, looks around. No cars, no people. It is clear there's no point in stepping out of the house after sundown. A window on the neighboring house to the left of the manor lights up, and a middle-aged woman in her pajamas comes up, opening it. You lost, mister? Rudely inquisitive. Nah, just moved in. Name's Ben. You moved into the Craig Manor? Oh boy. Yeah, the biggest mistake of your life. It is bad enough living next to that thing, let alone inside it. You're by yourself? Yeah. Things happen in that house. Can't hear it over here some nights. Her tone is cautionary. Still comes off like the town gossiper, though. Ben adjusts his glasses. Well, they did work on the house, took pictures, stuff happened, yeah. She doesn't seem pleased with his dismissiveness. Yeah, if children did all that over the last, 5 years we've been here, then I guess that's what it was. Have a good night, mister. Please don't come knocking here if something actually happens, 'cause we really don't want anything to do with that house. Just making that clear. Retreats back inside. Roger that, Karen. Does a military salute at the woman, while she closes the window and walks back into the manor. Mumbles between his teeth. Wouldn't do it if the house was on fire. The moment he steps in, immediately notices a light is now on, in the grand piano hall. Without taking off his coat, rushes in to see the light fixture over the bar switching off, right in front of him. Strides across the room to touch the switch. The small light bulb bursts, giving him an instant jolt throughout his entire body from the jump scare. Self assuages, faced with the unexplained. Oh, great. Shitty wiring. Ghosts did it, not the corner-cutting jagoffs that came in to turn this place into a theme park. Yeah, figure this shit out tomorrow. Reaches into his jacket to grab another smoke. 2 cigarettes left. No energy drink, no food. Tosses his jacket into the rack, goes up the stairs into the suite, stopping at the landing to flip the switch to the chandelier. But this would plunge the whole house into darkness while he stands there. Yeah, it stays on. The day, as far as he is concerned, is over. 3:33 a.m. Ben is experiencing one of his strange dreams, but this time it isn't the hallway with the red door. It's the small staircase leading up to the attic. It is quiet, cold, and a moonlight shaft comes through the small window above. Really hates that attic, so I go up there. Reasoning whether or not to press onward, decides to check where he's sleeping. Yep, it's one of those dreams again. Sees himself in a deep slumber, mouth open, a bit of drool, rolled up in his duvet, snug and peaceful. The lights are low and darkness casts a lot deeper while he's in this state. A subtle rumbling in his ears soon spreads to his eyesight. The house is just creepier by how it warps around him now. Great. Moments of great stress throughout his life always resulted in this vivid strangeness. It happened when his father left them 9 years ago. It happened when his one girlfriend in college dumped him in front of his gang for being an unambitious nerd. It happened the night he came back from the clinic, the day his mother passed away. His mind, enthralled by anxiety, always brings him back to all these spooky things. Never understood why or how. Scanned memories of the Pittsburgh apartment drop before him, pieces of a jumbled puzzle. That preacher guy with the cowboy boots is a recurring vision, something which he dismissively attributed to the ton of movies he saw as a kid. Yet, it is in those very details, this nearly tangible sense of the house coming alive, where that towering figure matches perfectly. Surely isn't just a memory from watching late night TV. Over the years, these nightmares were regularly confided with Mom. Monsters and shadow people would populate these specific dreams he recalled. Some of them pleading, others would chase him around erratically, like rabid animals. Fighting them was an option, and when he did, the thing had more in common with video games than the very hard-hitting reality of doing it in the streets. For one, gravity wasn't really a thing. Strangely liberating to be afforded some extra degree of control like that. She said his fertile imagination couldn't be contained by his waking hours, that his bravery was a result of his strong heart. Yet, as mothers often do, she would caution her son about being brash, for what it was worth. Cracking his knuckles, braces himself. If those things are about to pop out around here, he'll just beat them up, as usual. The reasoning? None of this stuff is real. No holds barred. Pumps knuckles. Indulging in his exploratory vein to see this old house under the lens of a dream state, starts looking around in renewed glee. Everything seems okay at first, though furnishings look definitely off as he draws closer to inspect. A veritable blast from the past. Notices different pieces coming into view, such as a huge dresser, a great standing mirror and a dressing table on the same room where he sleeps, and these look carved out of dark mahogany, a recurring theme throughout the rest of the manor's woodwork. The more he looks around, the more the decoration emerges as period-like, as if he's walking around in that same house, but from centuries ago. Rag and porcelain dolls adorn one of the smaller bedrooms, a rocking chair in the corner. The bathrooms have old copper tubs and a classic standing basin in each. This isn't the same house from earlier. The imitation light fixtures replaced everywhere with classic oil lanterns, all lit up in the place he is in, fading in the places left behind. Dreams aren't reliable on the senses, he rationalizes. But this feels like someone's memories. Sad ones at that. A nervous quip. Should have told me this is a smart home or something. Working up the courage to finally go back to that staircase, he presses on. But the door is closed again. Is someone here? His glasses are slipping down his nose. Of course there's someone here. Okay, guys, this door here, it stays open. House rules. Will attempting to force the door open, realizes it is now much harder to pry it from the frame. The clear difference being that pressure is now being exerted on the other side. Hey, the door stays open. Cut it. Placing all supposed might behind the pull, finally manages to burst it open. What he sees at the top of the stairs, however, immediately made him slam it back. Couldn't tell what it was, but something clearly stood in front of the small, heavily framed window, blocking the light. A most stern shadow, posing with upset. Do not open it. A gravelly woman's voice echoes from the top of the stairs, along the walls, through the door, and into his brain. Startled away from the door, inches across the study's entrance and back into the room where he slept. Around this time, he would have woken up, for sure. Why does this keep going? Adjusting his glasses, curiosity gets the better of him. Okay, lady, I'm sure the rules of the house were different back in the day, but this place is under new management, so this door stays open. Reaches for the door again, and a loud bang hits it, followed by, no. Okay. Ben is definitely shaken now. We're going to talk this through some other time, lady. I got my stuff in there. If that's a problem, I'll just put it someplace else so you can hang out, being creepy to your heart's content. Jeez. And walks away. He's so rude. A chirpy girl's voice is sounding behind the door. A boy interjects. I don't care. He brought so many toys up here. The sinister woman commands, much like a mother would. Connor, don't let Peter come down here. He'll go away soon. He is taken aback by the voices gathered in the stairwell. A woman and children? They all live up there? Regardless, it's a dream. Mere suggestion. My brain does that stuff. Walking away and down the main stairs into the entrance hall, he looks back up to see the door crack open and slam prohibitively shut. These first impressions on this particularly direct encounter left him wondering if he's already doing the creative work before sitting down to actually write. Hey, these bullshit dreams are legit useful. Don't like having them. I'm onto something here. This is going on the first draft for sure. Thanks for the vibe check, lady. I guess. Not willing to give up the ghost on his phantom tour through the house, he veers left into the downstairs right wing, where the main hall stood, with the piano. Feels his hearing becoming increasingly muffled while approaching. That's the audio cue for the bad stuff. A red light can be seen oozing from inside for a moment, and then total darkness. No light through the front window to the left. Nothing but solid blackness from the double door frame inwards. A terrifying density to it. Vibrations emanate from this place. A sickly, smothering pull, dragging his immaterial form down to the floorboards. The droning screaming, very far away, yet still audible from where he's standing, is illustrative of what this place is. True evil. Whatever's in there, it wants to kill him. The attic door was scary for a moment, but this? Forget it. That thing, that blackness, is breathing in anticipation. Those up there didn't suck this much spirit out of him, definitely. A house of murders would leave nasty things like this behind. Yeah, that's a big ass. Nope, right there. Goes back up the stairs and hollers at the attic door, avoidant. Uh, catch you guys later. I'm turning in for the night. Keep it quiet, all right? Stepping into the suite, the big standing mirror across from him shows a woman clad in what appears to be 19th century fashion. The fabric is dark and weathered. The dress has short, puffy sleeves, punctuated by white lace along every seam, a huge round skirt, a long coat hanging from a pearl chain around her neck, and a dark veil over her face, tied to a small Victorian tilt hat on her ashen hair. That's. She's definitely dead, and doesn't look happy at all. Electrified by this peripheral vision, knows that if he turns around, he'll see her standing in the doorway. Everything shakes. Mutters to himself, eyes shut. Wake up, wake up, wake up. The dreamwalker is in the manor. An effeminate yet deep male voice echoes in the dark. He is there, Jackson utters unconsciously from his big bed, exhaling vapor amidst the chill. The blue shades of moonlight fill the sterile corporate suite. One particular corner of that room sinks into a darkness so unnaturally deep that a presence could be the only thing causing it. A shadow of intense depth holding a sinister vigil over the slumbering executive. We'll keep him there, it commands. He tosses and turns from the disquieting energy floating in the room, nonetheless compelled to respond. I will. Fury, sorrow, fear. The trinity of despair for the sentient soul. Of all who depart carnal life, those tragically in the grip of these negative emotions will be faced with the stark reality of what comes after. Submerged in the darkness and melancholy of how things were, yet are no more, the wraith experiences the seemingly endless incarnation in a gap between realities, witnessing the world of the living from behind the veil of death, often envious and pained by such cruel segregation, forced to share a space with what once was a home, a family, a name, having slowly replaced and taken away by time, uncaring of disembodied protests, the wraith endures this torture, whilst the world moves on, in disconnected glimpses. However, what if such a gap is a bridge? Would one be brave enough to cross it to see what lies beyond what is seemingly lost to this broken perception of things? What imperatives would a soul have thus, minus the husk left behind to decay? This is the story of those who came to learn the once fleeting answers to such questions. Beyond a material understanding of the universe, an exception lies, the very exception which animates us all. Around it, all things true about life coalesce into the brightest light in the greater cosmos. Any sun, no matter how large, cannot compare. It is due to this intense luminosity that among the denizens of the afterlife, none are counted who would hold knowledge of what it is, where it leads. In fact, anywhere at all. Yet, seeing it manifest, one would understand it plainly as the source of all essence, material or otherwise. None whomsoever passes through its blinding threshold gets to return. No stories are told by those who leave us, only those who remain. In such, the soul's interpretation of this unknown carries hopes of a final mercy from the suffering of existence. The absolute release it affords is the only feeling, softly floating off one's departure from here to the hereafter. For it is so that upon the spectral light every memory, whether lost or found, is the one toll to pay at the gate in order to attain forgiveness in conclusion. Salvation lies within, strife lies without. This is the world awaiting the lingering dead. The end of Chapter 1. Please remember, if you have enjoyed this reading, hit the subscribe button and subscribe to the Sir Arminius channel to see more upcoming readings. All right, everyone, that was one hell of a long chapter. Holy cow. So I know there were some questions back here. So Leon Huttinger, if you happen to still be with us, yeah, that was the end of chapter one. The hour and 15-minute chapter. Daggum. So hopefully you are you are still here and I can answer your question. So the question for between chapters: have you ever considered reading Warhammer 40k novels such as the Gaunt's Ghosts or the Horus Heresy? I haven't. I won't put anything. Now, Warhammer 40k, I got started in doing some of this live stream reading when I was playing Mech Warrior Online, and I would read battle text while I was waiting for battles. So I've done a lot of battle tech reading. I've read through quite a lot of the battle tech stuff. So if it's something similar to that, hey, I've done a lot of that one, but no Warhammer 40k. But I'm always open to all of that. And how do you read so clearly and know what voices to do and when? Have you read this book before? No, I have not. So I read. This is something interesting about the way that I do this, guys. And just again, for your information, I'm happy to answer questions about anything. And so this is a very valid question that sometimes I cover. I don't read the books ahead of time. I don't for a couple of reasons. The first is I like to experience the book right along with you guys when I'm doing a live read. For me, it's so much better that way that I can experience the book at the same time you guys are experiencing the book. That way, if there's a shocking turn, there's something we don't expect, anything like that, I get to experience it at the same time. And I think it comes out in my reading that way. And I think it's more engaging that way. Now, if I was reading this and creating the audiobook for it, I would have read this book multiple times. I would have already chosen out voices that I wanted to do for characters. I would have all of that stuff ready to go. If I make a mistake, I would go back, I would re-record a sentence, all of which you cannot do in a live format. So the voices that I do are voices that come to me, and they're just the ones that spring out for that person at that time when I am reading the book. Because again, I haven't read it before. I didn't know that there was a Carl character until I hit the Carl character. I didn't know that there was a, what was his name? Leonard Leon Jackson. I don't know why Leonard or Leon came to mind. Jackson. But he's a boss character, so he gets the deep voice. Trying to throw in the New York accent, which by no means an expert at the New York accent. But we're in New York. I got to give you the New York accent. I'm a taxi driver. You got to do those things as you go through. And it just kind of flows through as I'm doing it. It is, so I will tell you, it has been a long acquired skill. I was not nearly as good at this when I started doing these live reads. I thought I was good at it. I was not nearly as good at it as I am now, and I probably am not nearly as good at it as I will be another year from now, another 2 years from now. One of the reasons why I do these live indie author reads, for starters, as an indie author, you are everything. You're the writer, you're the editor, you're the publisher, oftentimes the artist. You also have to be the marketer. And a lot of indie authors are not good at marketing. So my doing this for them provides another marketing avenue for them to get this book out in front of people for them to experience. The other part is it helps me to practice my craft at different genres. Last week, it was all like crime mysteries. Before that, I had an erotic chapter one of what turned out to be more erotic of a novel than I expected it to be. But I have read travelogues, I have read horror, romantasy, I have read lots of different stuff, and it gives me the opportunity to practice my craft while still giving back to the indie authors and to the community as a whole. So it's very meaningful to me. And it comes out the fact that I just read an hour and 15 minutes of a book, muting occasionally to cough because, well, cough, you have to, especially when you do the voices like this that strain your voice. I sometimes have to cough a little bit as it goes through. Those things happen. I mute it so it doesn't actually go in the recording. If you're on the TikTok channel, it doesn't mute it there. You guys would have heard it. It should have muted it for everybody else. Nobody else would have heard it. You'd see it, but you wouldn't hear it. And so it's been a lot of practice and it's been a lot of work to get to this point. But I love what I do. And so it makes it all worthwhile to me to do this. All right, guys. Well, with the length of that chapter, we are only going to make it through one chapter today. It looks like, so we will continue this book on, today is Saturday. We will continue this book on Tuesday. And on Tuesday, we'll pick it up and into chapter 2. I think we're going to get through probably chapter 2 and chapter 3. Looking in here, chapter 1 was from pages 5 to 40, so it was 35 pages of the book. We're 29 pages. Well, it would be 58 pages for the next one. We'll see. These are long chapters. Long chapters are okay. I try to keep my stuff to about an hour and a half to 2 hours normally. And right now I know I would shoot way over that. And as I'm still just getting over a cold this week, thus the coughing, I don't want to stretch it and try to get another chapter in. So we will stop there. If you guys were enjoying the reading, but you happen to miss any of it, the recording of chapter 1 will be available on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@SirArminius, a little bit later tonight. I will get it uploaded once I end the stream. Again, we'll pick up again on Tuesday. I do these readings on Tuesdays and Saturdays. We'll pick it up again on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and I will read the next chapter or 2. I'm hoping for 2. That's my goal, 2. And once again, those chapters will be recorded and posted on the YouTube channel. If you have not already, I would appreciate it if you would think about subscribing to the YouTube channel. It helps to support what it is that I do here and helps to give me the platform to be able to support and lift up these indie authors with the stories that I read for them. So if you haven't, once again, youtube.com/@SirArminius, if you would consider stopping out there to subscribe. And a big thank you to all of you. The greatest gift that you can give me is the gift of your time, and I appreciate that you guys gave me the gift of yours this evening, whether it was for part of the stream or the whole thing. Thank you so much for being here with me. I look forward to seeing you guys all again a little bit later this week, Tuesday, when we come back around for Chapter 2 of Spectral Braver by Tiago Resende. Once again, thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And I look forward to seeing you guys all again really soon. Good night, everyone.